Okay, so it just started.
Alright, started? Started?
Yeah, it started.
Oh, cool. Alright.
Okay then, so, what, introductions?
Alright, yeah.
Introductions? Well, I'm Tay. And who are you?
I'm Tay.
So we got Tay and Tay. Alright, so today we're just going to discuss a manga we just read called Tripeace. Or is it, how would you say it?
I would say trippy ass. Yes,
Trippy ass?
Yeah, trippy ass. You know?
I don't know, I thought it was Tripeace. Alright, so this is a manga. Oh, and there's the background information I was telling you I was going to give you.
Right.
So the manga was written by somebody named Maru Tomoyuki in 2008. And this is the interesting part. He was an assistant to Okubo Atasushi. Do you know who that is?
No, what do you write?
He's the creator of Soul Eater. Alright. And it was published in a Square Enix-owned publication called Shonen Gangan, who also published Soul Eater and something else that we both know. Guess what it is?
Alright, hold on, let me think here.
Something we both love. Completed series. You get up? You did 666 Satan.
Oh, alright.
And that's one of my favorite characters is Geo Freed, the main character of 666 Satan. That was a good series.
It was.
Right.
Well, up till the end, but.
Oh, that's a whole nother video.
Yeah, but yeah.
So you're fucking wrong. Anyways, so Tripeace has 11 volumes and 43 chapters.
Right.
And it just ended recently. What was it, like 3 weeks ago?
3 or 4. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, let's start from the very beginning. We have our main character who has amnesia. That's original right there.
Right. Where else do you see amnesia?
I've never heard about that before. A character that starts out with amnesia? That's new. That's new.
Right.
By the way, I do love Tripeace. That was just... Anyway, so he has amnesia, and I don't remember this because I haven't read it in a while.
Well, yeah, I went back.
You went back?
Yeah, I went back for like a little bit of the first segment of the story.
Alright, so how did you decide on his name again?
Alright, so basically, I can't fully remember, but he was talking to some kids, and he was just thinking, Nana, that sounds like a nice name.
Oh, so he just called himself the first thing that pops in mind.
Yeah, I mean, you would assume that it'd have some deep meaning, like, you know, since it's Japanese for 7, it'd have some something.
Wait, is Japanese for 7?
No, not yet.
Then that has nothing to do with anything.
I mean, you'd hope it'd be something symbolic of something.
The show's called Tripeace. That's 3, so... Alright, I have no idea what the heck that means.
So, anyway, going on. Right. It turns out that the Empire of Zeiss is waging war, and in, like, one of the battle crossfires, the kids that Nana was talking to...
About the kids, the kids are Ichika, Nile, and Nets. Which is my favorite part of the series is the kids. Though, this isn't even a spoiler, they all die in the first chapter or the second chapter?
It is the first chapter.
In the first chapter, all those 3 kids die. And the kids are basically the motivation for Nana throughout the entire series. Really love that.
Which is actually good. He keeps going back, even at the end
of the series, he still talks about those kids. That was really cool. He never forgot about the kids. Basically, during the war when the kids die, Nana vows to end war because war has killed people and it's violence, even though he has no memories of anything that he is. And by the way, he's extremely weak. Well,
right, he's the most pathetic main character of any series you could ever watch. You would, like, when I first started reading the series, I was like, oh, I'm so interested in this. But then I started looking at Nana, and I was thinking, maybe some subconscious thing will click in his brain, and he'll start beating the crap out of everybody.
Oh, he got whooped, didn't he?
It was so...
But throughout getting whooped, he still stayed nice. Wasn't it that the reason he was able to stop the attack in the first chapter was because, even though he was getting destroyed, he was still nice to the random villain number 1, because this show has its random villain count going up to, I think, random villain number 16.
Right.
So we start out with random villain number 1, who was complete asshole. I don't see why he was redeemable at all.
Right, for real.
And then, so he gives him this little thing called another plot point in the manga is these things called Sessu, or how would you...
I think it's Seisui.
Seisui. Basically what it is like this kind of healing gel that can like heal anybody. It can recover you from any injury, any illness, but it can't bring people back from the dead.
Right.
Which is the only weakness.
Which is pretty much the only thing he wants at this point.
Because all the kids are dead, he gets a hold of some of it and tries to bring the kids back to life, but he can't do it. Right. So instead of bringing the kids back to life, he uses it on random villain number 1, who got hurt through something I don't remember. Can you pull that up?
Sure. But anyway, why don't you get that, and I'll go on and talk about the next 3 chapters, because these pretty much define the rest of the story.
Alright.
Alright, chapter 2 pretty much explains how Nana is. He goes around and he meets up with these kids who are playing a game. And it's like some sort of war game where they're playing. And he just thinks it's an actual war. He thinks they're actually fighting each other. And he tries to come up with an actual way to resolve it. Which just goes to show how lovable yet stupid this character is. It makes you wonder what his redeemable qualities are, but I digress. Anyway, they wind up being attacked by Zeiss too, and during that time, bada bing, bada boom,
basically what their manga is named after, an organization called Tripeace.
Yes.
Whose coincidence time? Guess what their goal in life is to do? They trying to end that war. That's what they trying to do. I was like, oh, that's convenient.
Alright, first most notice, alright, you meet 3 characters. First character you meet in who's a member of Tripeace is probably going to be Shiro, who's like, possibly a lesbian?
I don't know. Don't talk about, hey, what does her sexual orientation have to do with anything?
I mean, I'm not against that.
Hey, don't judge. Does her sexual orientation have to do with her goals in life? What's wrong with you, man? Damn, Tay.
Alright, next up is, I think it was Shiratori. She's a little ninja girl who is not actually, she's not actually blind, but she blindfolds herself to increase her skills. Which
the little midget?
Midget.
Yeah, she uses anime logic, which basically take away one of your senses, all the other ones are increased 20-fold.
And when she takes off her bandana,
apparently something happens. I never saw it. That happened off panel. I hate when manga does that. I understand when something happens off screen when you're watching TV, but happening off panel?
That's annoying.
That is sad.
Alright, but now the most noticeable character, the one that'll stand out the most as soon as you start reading the series, is Belial.
You learned his name. I never knew his name.
Belial. How could you not know?
I never learned his name. I'm sorry. When I read series, sometimes I just don't pay attention to names. I skim through it, except for like the main characters. I guess technically he's a main character, but I don't know. So, anyways, he's the big dude, right?
Right, biggest dude in the series. Now, when I was first reading the series, I noticed, like, with all the characters and their jagged angles and drawing styles, like, to me, it resembled a manga version of the anime known as, what was it called again? It was with the, Needless. Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
It does look like Needless. Especially him.
Yeah.
Oh, I never noticed that. It really does look like Needless. It looks straight like it. Except for, Needless is a bit more vulgar.
Well, so. Yeah, there's that. But, yeah. Aside from that, yeah, but bringing up the whole...
Oh, but we haven't gotten to why Nana is so special. They know he's weak. They know he's trying to end the war, but why is my man Nana a special character above everybody else?
Because he got willpower.
Nah, that ain't it.
Oh.
Give it. Why my man Nana's so special is because his strategy of ending war is the cross-dress.
Oh.
That is. It's the soundest strategy I ever heard. I mean, come on now. They told you, how you going to end war, Elliot? You going to buy up all the weapons in the world?
No.
You going to make everybody happy?
No.
You going to fight them?
No.
You going to cross-dress?
Hells yeah.
That is the best strategy I ever heard. But yeah, Nana is a cross-dresser, and I don't know what that is. Apparently he's also been one before he lost his memory, because it is natural to him.
Yes.
He stuffs a bra, he puts on puts on this dress, ties up his hair.
As a matter of fact, due to Nana's cross-dressing, it helped me realize something about anime series, that in all actuality, cross-dressing technically counts as a gender bender, because I didn't know that before.
You mean as in tags?
Yes, as in a tag. It'll be a gender bender.
Speaking of the tags, let's go over the tags of what Tripeace is.
Let us curve for a split second.
Okay. So, in genres, Tripeace is tagged as action, comedy, drama, fantasy, gender bender, shonen, and tragedy. I don't see tragedy.
Well, I mean, there's a group of kids who die in the first chapter. I guess that technically counts as a tragedy.
I don't know. When I hear tragedy, I think something along the lines of, like, a city got blown up. I think you've got to spend time with the characters before it actually goes down.
Right.
We didn't really get to... we only got to spend the first chapter with the kids, but guess the only reason you think the kids are so important is because Nana himself never stops talking about them.
Okay, so anyway, like we were saying, back to the story. Nana disguises himself as a girl, and...
in order to join Tripeace.
Right. Because Shiro apparently doesn't like him. She just straight up...
She doesn't like the D.
Yeah.
She doesn't fuck with anybody that has the D. Nobody with the D is gonna be in her crew.
Right. Now, as you see the first few... But you see, as soon as she sees the female Nana, which after a few chapters, you'll forget that Nana's actually a guy.
Yeah, because he stays as her for a really long time.
Yes, he does. So, yeah. And you'll realize, hey, they're the same. Hey, this really works. And she's like, oh. Because you could see her wetting herself just sitting there watching him. And
that is. Oh, yeah, that's probably why you were calling her lesbian earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, she was a bit.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
Even though it's the same weak Nana that can't fight or do anything.
She doesn't know that.
She doesn't know that, and just I think the fact that it's now a female standing in front of her, she just loves him.
Right, because first it was like weak, pacifistic male Nana, like, screw you, you're trash. Now we got weak, pacifistic female Nana.
What are you talking about? She a strong black woman. She know how to take care of her business. So, anyways.
Yeah, they let her/him/it in, and a bunch of things happen. He winds up outranking himself as the female one, and is allowed in the to hang with the group of the top members, which includes some of the most interesting characters you'll see in the entire series.
That's a character I really like. What was his name? The guy with the money.
Gold. Yes, Gold.
That guy is awesome.
You can watch any anime series that's ever been invented. No one else in any series, period, has such an exaggerated amount of money.
No, it's because... Okay, this is what goes... In Tripeace, in order to end war, they have what's called their 3 laws of mediation. Right. The first 2 laws is always love and peace.
Usually.
Usually the first 2 laws is love and peace. And in order to end war, they add a 3rd law of mediation. Now, everybody has their own little thing.
Yeah, Shiro's was love, peace, and hope. Belial's was love, peace, and violence. Which
that was awesome. And Gold, his is love, peace. Well, his is not love and peace.
Well, no, his is money.
That is awesome. That guy is awesome, man. And he's right.
Yes.
He's completely right. The way to end war is just through money. He literally throws money at all his problems.
Like, he was face down with an army of people. Like, army of Zeiss soldiers coming right at him. And all he did was start tossing out the bread. Just started tossing out the bread. And everyone was just... like, alright, we're gonna take a break for a second.
Everybody just picked up the money and the war was over. It was done. There's no need to do anything else. I mean, God, that is...
Remember, kids, money solves all of your problems.
It's the root of all evil and the solution to all problems.
There you go.
Oh my goodness. That guy is awesome.
Now, here's another character introduced. The actual leader of Tripeace.
That guy was the leader?
The guy with the black hair and glasses. I can't even remember his name.
I don't remember his name either. He was the little short kid that was a computer genius, apparently.
No. Here's the thing, though. His sister was the computer genius. Yes. She could type on 8 computers at once.
So, but what was he? Why was he special?
You see, that's what irritated me. He was ranked #1, and he did nothing.
Oh. But he did deliver the best line in the series. So, but I'll wait for but that's for later. Right. Anyways, so going on with the series, we have, which is my problem though. What? That's just a broad description. But my problem with the series is, though it says they're gonna end war, it never really got into basically in the whole series, the problem for the war was always the same thing. It always came back to the Seishu.
Well. Yeah, I mean...
It always came back to the Seishu, which is, there's a whole arc where they're fighting over a Seishu reserve, and basically the solution they did, what did they do? They blew it up. They blew it up.
And you know what they were worried about with that Seishu reserve?
Right.
If I remember properly, they're worried about using it as a bomb.
Which is so weird. How do you turn something that seems that God invented it, in their world, would be perfectly invented to save lives, and you have to have that one asshole that goes, I'm going to find a way to make this kill people.
Right.
That is ridiculous.
So anyway, we move on to actual Zeiss people themselves later on in the story, apart from all the Tripeace BS going on.
Which is another cool part, because they do try to show you a bit of both sides, but they still fail at that. Because Ribble, the general of Zeiss, his motivations are blurry.
Questionable, yes.
They're very blurry.
I mean, he's a badass. Like, there was a scene where he couldn't get to Nana fast enough to attack him. He kneed himself in the jaw, broke his tooth, and spit it like he was shooting a bullet out of a gun.
That was fucking epic. Broke his own jaw, broke his tooth, and then spit his teeth out at Nana like bullets. That was too epic. But like, his motivations just are almost non-existent.
Right. I mean, at first you have the impression, oh, he's the ruler of the empire. He wants to do this for his people, which is good. Well, I mean, he's not the ruler, but he's a powerful figurehead. And he's like, which is good. It's a good motivation for a character. But later in the series, even after the empire's...
Well, basically, at a certain point in the series, they come to an agreement. Tripeace and Zeiss kind of stop fighting for a little while, and then Ribble is retired. So you go, oh, that's good. His country is at peace. He still be okay. And then out of nowhere, just almost nowhere, he just goes, nah, I want to start some trouble. I want to fight. Just using the whole, I'm a soldier, I'm a general, I never knew anything else, so all I know how to do is fight, which was just bull. It was real bull. It was, oh my goodness, that was a sad excuse. It was a waste of a potentially good character.
Now, this is something we should introduce pretty early on about Nana that's interesting. This part came in around this part of the story. There was this guy, I can't remember his name, but he had the ability to generate razor blades out of his body.
Oh, yeah, to do with the razor blade hands.
And basically to save one of his female members of Tripeace, who I believe was Shira, he, disguised as a woman, went off to go get... Yeah.
Yeah, that is...
However, this guy automatically knew that Nana was a man, which, in all honesty, he could have just called him out in front of everybody.
That was weird. So he still decided to take him...
And kill him in private.
No, I don't think he was going to kill him in private. I'm just saying, if he knew he was a guy... I think somebody was in the closet.
So, yes. Anyway, Nana has this unexplained scar on his body, which is actually unexplained throughout the entire story. They never say how he got the scar. But the fact of the matter is, during the fight, the guy cuts it. And when it opens up...
Nana goes into this weird possessed form where he does this little move. It's not even like a... It's not even a fighting style.
It's not a form either.
He just puts his hand in this weird...
It's a sign.
Yeah, he puts up this little fox sign, and just by doing that, he's able to kick ass. Which is, he doesn't do anything. He just puts up the fox sign, and now he's just a badass. So he holds the fox sign up, and I think he just punches and kicks him, and like that's it.
Right.
I think at one point he flicks him too.
Now y'all are wondering about this, but in all actuality, that's another good thing about the series. During it, you could see Nana actually progressing in his strength. So it's not. I mean,
aside from that little random fox magic that he pulled, he was actually getting stronger as the series went on.
Right.
Not strong enough to face off with anybody major, but strong enough to hold his own.
To take down the important side villains.
Yeah, random villain number 2s through 13. He was able to fight.
All right, now then, on to the next part. We wind up getting a little bit of Shiro's history and discover she has a complicated past with her mother.
It was not complicated. It was a misunderstanding, which is I hate misunderstanding so much. It's like the plot point for every anime ever. Just like I hate when the solution is if you had sat down and talked for 5 minutes, none of this would have ever happened.
Right.
So basically, what happened with Shiro's mother was Shiro's mother's a scientist, and she's the one who uses these. She did the research for these Seisu, and she was the one that developed the bomb technology, how to turn them into bombs to kill people, which I still do not understand. How does that work?
Well, she was a member of the Zeiss
army, so in her perspective, she was doing what was good for her country.
Right.
But since her daughter did not like her research with the bombs, she's promised to stop working on it. So, but I'm not gonna spoil it. I don't feel like spoiling that part in particular because that was actually pretty interesting. Because even though it was stupid and it was a misunderstanding, they still did it well. So I don't want to spoil that part in particular, but let's go on past that.
All right. I think that's pretty much it for the first part of the story. Should we move on to the second?
when they show up with Nana's past, when that finally starts to get played into effect.
Aries.
Even though, whoa. I wasn't gonna say everything. I'm trying to be vague here.
It's pretty vague.
I don't want to spoil anything.
I'm not spoiling it.
I just want people to read the series.
All right, got you.
Damn.
All right, cool.
Spoiler alert. Anyways, so this organization, which Ares,
yeah,
whose opposite of Tripeace's goal is to create war.
Yes.
He wants conflict, which is another thing that was never explained. And I blame all this non-explaining on the shows, on the manga's like abrupt end. It ends at chapter 43. Did I say
40? Well, it's 40. It was 40. Yeah, 43.
43. It ends in chapter 43, and it was just a quick end. It felt like it just had to get wrapped up. I'm suspecting it probably got canceled or something, because Japan just wants the same repetitive crap over and over again, so they canceled a good series.
I mean, yeah, it was wonderfully unique. But anyway, that's a little off topic.
And so basically, Ares shows up, and they want to start war. And their introduction is pretty badass, because this is how they're introduced. Actually, what happens
It was the guys at the restaurant, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't the guys at the restaurant. It was before that. Before the restaurant scene, they were
the conference.
Yeah, they showed this. Tripeace is having a conference where all their groups from all over the world gather together. So on their way to the conference, we meet a completely new group of Tripeace members we've never seen before, and they're just like, it's like, you know that scene in the anime when just like, you know, the badasses are showing up, the guys are gonna fuck shit up. So their guys are just walking through the mist.
Like it ain't nothing.
Like walking through the mist. They hear some fighting going on. And you could tell these are the darker agents of Tripeace.
Right.
Because they hear some fighting going on and they want to end war too. And the way they did it is they killed everybody involved in the war. This side, that side, those sides, they were dead. Like, basically, I'm guessing their law of mediation was, hey, cut that shit out. So they just went in there and they just killed everybody.
Right, everybody. So
after they did that, you go, oh wow, these guys are pretty badass. Can't wait to learn about them. Guess what? They did. And it was a one-panel shot. A member of Ares just reached and like pulled out his spine along with his brain, and it was done.
It's something you see in Mortal Kombat.
It was so violent. I did not see it.
Finish him.
It's like he did not see it coming. There was no reaction. He was just there bragging about what he just did, and just spine.
Right.
I was so surprised because I read that. I was like, he's supposed to stay. Isn't he the badass character that will learn more about his past? Apparently not. He's dead. But that is funny because Ares is actually pretty funny. They're a pretty funny group of people. Because right after doing that, they go to a restaurant. And by the way, did I mention Ares wears they wear skulls on their head?
Yeah.
And dead animal skulls and all just a desert robe. And they're just in a restaurant eating, talking so casually
about something or another.
They weren't even talking about anything really important.
It doesn't even matter?
It didn't matter.
Now, here's what matters. There are these two guys fighting. Mm-hmm. And the member of Ares is like, alright, if y'all are going to fight, here. And he wants to hand one of them a gun. Mm-hmm. And the guy's like, and they're just standing there stunned like,
it wasn't even that serious, man. basically, what Ares does is take any conflict to the 10th degree.
Right.
Basically, if two kids were fighting over a Barbie doll, they'll give one of the kids a knife and put them in a cage and say, "Settle this like real man." They're like, "We just wanted a Barbie." Nah, settle this shit.
Oh.
So basically, after that little show at the restaurant, they pay their bill, which is very kind of them. They paid their restaurant bill and just walked out like it was nothing happened.
You see, I like these polite villains.
They were very polite.
Yeah.
I mean, guess aside from their little niche of war, there's nothing really else about them. They're very casual.
You can be evil without being a jerk.
Yeah, they were evil without being dicks.
Right.
I mean, aside from giving the dude the gun, I mean, that's kind of fucked up. But just as going within their goals is just to create war and conflict. And they do have a good reason for it. And I do like their story. It's basically, they lived in the land where most of the Seisu come from. Because it always comes back to that goddamn Seisu.
Right.
So they lived in the land where that Seisu came from. But they were a very peaceful country. They didn't even have a military or anything. So the rest of the world said, "Ha ha! You don't have a military? Hey boys! Hey boys! We going there. We about to get us our Seisu." So their land was completely ravaged. Like everything is gone. When they showed where they lived, it was just craters and rocks.
Right.
It was even one of the guys was actually living in a crater. And I'm not even joking. He was literally living in a crater. And I think the only protection he had was a pile of rocks that he could occasionally move over his crater. But yeah, that is their motivation. Basically, since they got screwed over so much, they just said, you know what? The rest of the world is going to get what we got. So everybody's going to have war nonstop, 24/7, until the whole world is just like where we are.
Alright, now on to the story, though. Here's the thing, though. The conference. The most important event in Tripeace history.
Was not focused on at all.
Yeah, no one wants to go. Or they went, well, no one in Nana's group wants to go, but...
Oh, basically what happened, nobody in Nana's group wanted to go.
Right.
So Nana ended up going by himself with this new character we got introduced to. We really didn't do much.
Right.
The only purpose he was there was to introduce another cross-dresser and to introduce a member of Tripeace who didn't want to end war.
For what reason, though?
There was no reason. That person didn't really have a purpose. So Nana goes, and then everybody else, other people that was gonna go were the ones that got killed by Ares.
There were two other people, though. There was a girl. I think her name was Nekotan. She's basically like...
The cat?
Yeah, the cat girl.
Yeah, but she was introduced very early on.
Yeah.
She's been there for a while, but this is the time when you got to focus on her a bit more.
And the other one is probably a character whose coolness is almost on the same level as Gold. Not because he's strong, but just because how awesome he is.
You're talking about the
is
doctor?
Dr. Jack Free.
Jack? Oh my goodness, that's another cool guy. Because you keep getting these little hints that he's very strong, that like he used to fight, but like he doesn't. And
yes, but here's the most weird thing about his character.
What?
He's a suicidal doctor.
Oh yeah. he literally has a noose around his neck. He has a noose tied around his neck, and the rope hangs down to like his chest, like cut. Like he failed at killing himself at one point in life and just never let go of the noose.
Right. So, smoke cigarettes with the intention of killing himself.
When they actually said, "How are you a doctor? You smoke cigarettes?" and he says he really is trying to kill himself because he knows how dangerous smoking is. It's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
But basically, and then the part where he got dark was because Ares did this thing when they brainwashed a bunch of other Tripeace agents, the smaller members.
The grunts.
The grunts, basically. And he made them believe that war would never end. So the Ares agents made Tripeace agents believe war would never end. So brainwashing them to think, if wars never end, might as well go crazy, act nuts. So other Tripeace agents started attacking other Tripeace agents. And this is what Jack says. And he just says, "Oh, your kids gonna keep playing around? I'll kill all of y'all." It was so... and he did it so intimidating. It was like his eyes did that whole getting dark thing. His hair started covering most of his face. Just basically saying, if they keep acting out of line, he's just going to kill them. Because everybody else was going like, "Oh, we have to find a way to get them back." And he's just like, "I'm going to kill it." I'm going to kill it.
But, alright, now back to the plot. So Nana's out in the desert with all the holes and whatnot.
Oh, wait, no. You forgot how Ares kidnapped Nana. It was a very kind gesture they did. They just basically, they walked up to him, said, "You're coming with us," punched him in his gut, knocked him out, and took him away. It was a very formal introduction. They was like, "Is that him?" "Yeah, that's him." And just boom, knocked him out, took him out, and carried him into the desert.
Right. So there's this guy. Well, even in the desert, nothing much high. No, there's this guy that Nana meets as soon as he's in the desert. It's this crazy guy who says he knows Nana, and a few seconds later he's like, "Hey, there's an animal walking by. I know you too. Hey, the rock. I know you too."
Yeah.
And this crazy guy isn't explained. He's
never explained. He's just like, he was just there to do that anonymous thing where you get to learn about Nana's past. Just basically like, "Oh, I know you." And then like just a panel later, he goes, "I know you." And then, "I know you."
Yeah,
just pointing out random things.
It makes me regret how interesting he seemed.
It was so funny. That series does have if anything, Tripeace is good because of its characters. Because here's what I wanted to talk about. The series in general is about war and ending war, but it does it in a shallow way. It never really gets into the core of war. Like the thing with the Seisu. Saying like how basically in our world that would probably be oil or something like that.
Right.
Saying the only reason people go to war is oil, that's pretty stupid. There's always more going on than that. It's also about international disputes, maybe some I can't get that word out. Economical and stuff like that. But in Tripeace, it's just about that one issue alone, and that's why it fails in its own message.
Well, I mean, Seisu is a very powerful, important object.
It's a resource. It's a very powerful, important resource
like
that everybody wants.
If you took gold and mixed it with oil.
All right. Okay. First, it's valuable in the fact that you can probably sell it for a lot. And another way, they kind of explain that it could probably be used for energy too. And
right.
let's not forget its healing capabilities. So it's a pretty powerful resource.
Right.
But the thing is, it was clear that it's abundant in certain areas. So, like just the area where Ares came from. There was plenty of it there. Another area was in that castle they went to, in that one in those few chapters where they found an oasis of it.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot of it there too.
I've forgotten about that.
So the thing is, it's everywhere, and and just the smallest drop of it is what heals people.
Right.
So I don't know why they would fight. I guess somebody would want control over all of it, but the way they're going about it is just way too
roundabout.
Yeah. It was like attack a country and take over a country just for that one resource, when you could probably find a way to trade it.
For real.
But that's what I was talking about. Basically, it always came back to the Seisu. So anyway, each thing kind of ended the same way. The first fight was they destroyed the Seisu Oasis, and that's how they solved that problem. The second major fight, they destroyed the Seisu Bomb. That's how they got rid of that problem. The third one, well,
we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. Now then, on to Nana. He goes to the desert, meets this guy living in a hole.
Man, boy, living in a crater. That is so sad.
And so this guy's like, hey, I know you. You my homeboy. Remember, we used to go out killing together. Yeah.
And turns out, it's revealed that Nana is... I'm not going to tell y'all. That's a spoiler. Anyways,
right, that's a major spoiler.
That's a major spoiler. Anyway, so we get Nana's true identity, which leads us to the end of the series. So quick.
Yeah, unnecessarily quick. Alright, now then, let me tell you something about the series. I love the series to the upteenth degree. But this ending is what's gonna blow you.
Oh my goodness, no. You want to know why I did not hate the ending? One line, and one line only, which was said by the guy with the short kid with glasses.
The most useless yet most important figure in Tripeace, the leader.
Okay. Now this kind of settles it. I think off of that one line alone, the message of Tripeace was completely conveyed. And that message was, you remember? Hold up, let me pull it up so I can quote this actually. I want to quote it word for word.
Word for word.
Because that shit was just too good. Let me find this.
That's the last chapter, bro.
The last chapter was called War Will Disappear.
Yep.
That was a stretch.
But yeah, here's the thing about the story though. Mm-hmm. Like in the last few things, you introduce the most powerful members of Ares and the most powerful members of Tripeace, even new characters we haven't seen before. And you're
a lot. That was another problem. Towards the end, they introduced a lot of characters.
Yeah.
Like an unnecessary amount. Like almost characters. They introduce a Bleach amount of characters. That's basically what I'm trying.
Bro, we'll not get to Bleach just yet.
No, I'm not going to talk about Bleach ever again. I don't like Bleach. I'm never going to talk about Bleach. That's not going to happen. If you want to talk about Bleach, you bring somebody else on here, and they'll talk about Bleach with you, but I'm not going to talk about Bleach.
Oh, man. But, yeah, anyway. Yeah, but you have all these strong characters, all these awesome designs, all these cool-looking abilities, and...
Well, abilities.
Well...
No, that's another thing in Tripeace. Nobody has powers. Yes. Nobody has abilities, nobody has powers, nobody... Well, except for a few random offshots, like the guy that had the razors growing out of him.
We can call these...
Like, just...
skills.
Yeah, skills. But basically the main thing that everybody has
was strength.
Was strength, yeah. Basically strength or speed.
Yeah.
And that's basically all it ever came to. Anyway, so yeah, basically, like, they introduced a lot of characters.
But... just off-screen fights, stupid arguments. Like, two characters just sat there arguing. They didn't even do anything.
Well, technically they were fighting and arguing at the same time, but It wasn't really much going on.
And this other one, my man Belial is just playing a game of, I think it was Shogi? Yeah, Shogi. Japanese chess with a member of Ares who knew my homeboy Nat. He stood there, they were playing, and it was like, they had that tense moment. You know who I am, and you know we have to fight. And you're thinking, oh, I'm waiting so long for this. And what you see of the fight is awesome. What you don't see is everything else.
No, they didn't really do anything. Okay, this is it. This is the line. I found it.
This is it?
Oh my god, what the fuck is that?
What was what?
Okay, you know how like now in manga websites for some weird reason they have these little advertised pictures below it?
Yeah.
I just saw something of Danny Phantom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
you weren't the only one who saw that.
Okay. Anyways, let me hold up.
Yeah,
a few more pages away.
Right. Here we go. This is it, I think.
Let me. Jeez, can I find this then again? Okay, it's about to come.
Yep. Here we go. So yeah, this is the leader of Tripeace.
It's the last chapter. So this is what he says. It says, "War will disappear one day. Man is not a god, and he does not have the instinct of an animal. He's just stupid." And I fucking love that line, man. That just made me laugh. It is hilarious. Because it's like, it kind of captures the essence of what the show was trying to talk about. Because the show never really it never went deep into it.
Yeah.
It was just always trying to say this. And it kind of goes, man is not a god. It does not have the instinct of an animal. He's just stupid.
And it actually makes sense. Like, have you ever known somebody who did something just because they could do it?
That's actually the point of the series.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the other characters. Because Ribble, again, he just did it because he could. He was a general. He was born to fight. Basically, that's all he is. He was just stupid.
And he's, like, content with his retirement, just a little bummed out. Remember, Ares comes, talks to him. He's like...
And he's just ready to go right back into it. And Nana, another guy, he's just stupid. He wants to end war, but has no idea how to go about it. He cross-dresses to do it.
Right.
Tripeace itself, they want to end war, but have a bunch of different members that disagree on how to go about it. Again, just idiots.
Right.
It was just like the whole show is full of idiots, and like, and it's so funny, and that's how they decide that one day war will just end, because you can't. If the world is just full of these idiots, eventually they're gonna. I don't know, man. I just think that sums it up right there. I can't even. I'm trying to get deep into it, but I think that's just it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's that simple. People are stupid. And it's such an easy moral to learn. Like,
yes, this is what happens when people are stupid and have power, which is realistic.
It's very realistic. This is actually what's going on in the world right now. Our leaders aren't smart, man. They're not doing anything wise. This has nothing to do with anything. They're just stupid. The world is stupid. People are very, very stupid. There's nothing deeper than that. I think that we fight because we're stupid. We'll make peace because we're stupid. It's like a never-ending cycle. But I think in the end, it will still come out to be good. Because what harm can a dumb person really do? Right. At the end of the day, man, dumb people, they're just gonna be at peace. And I think that's kind of all I got to say about Tripeace, because that one sums it up right there.
Now then, I would say that amongst other series, the ending was it was lackluster. It was kind of disappointing. It was a little bumming out. But still, like, throughout the entire thing, you realize you were so in tune with it. Like, when I was reading it, I couldn't wait for the next chapter to come out. So I'd say that I'd have to say that this is a mandatory read. You have to read it. You have to, at some point, read this.
Damn, you have to.
Yes.
He demands you. You will read this right after this. You will. It's like, but on recommendation base, yeah, I would say you read it.
Yep.
I would definitely recommend somebody reads this, but don't read it and try to take it too seriously. Like, just because it's talking about war, do not try to take it too seriously. The show doesn't really try to take itself too seriously, except for its occasional moments, but in the end, it always chooses comedy. And even the very end of the series chose comedy over action or drama.
Right. Personally...
Which is why I said earlier I didn't get the tragedy tag.
Yeah.
Because of the way the series goes about it.
But personally, I would love to see this made into an anime form.
Yeah, I've not been trusting anime recently.
I mean, still. I mean, if they took it, like, straight from the book, kept the fight scenes great, because these have great fight scenes, great action sequences.
They do. I don't know. They kind of just have the dash line fight scenes. Not the actual drawn out what's going on. They just kind of have the dash line stuff, just that whole hand movements and stuff like that going on.
Right, but still.
Yeah. So, we're done?
Yep, we're done. This has been Tay.
And this has been Tay. And we just reviewed Tripeace. Go check it out.